Hello, I'm Asad Ashraf and welcome to Newsreel Asia. A few weeks ago, our team came across something on Telegram that genuinely unsettled us. A bot sitting quietly in a chat claiming to hold the personal records of over 680 million Indians. Aadhaar numbers, passport details, addresses, phone numbers, family information, all of it available for a search that costs less than rupees 2.50. We tested it ourselves. We typed in a mobile number and within seconds had a PAN card, a passport, an Aadhaar number, and a home address staring back at us. In this video, we are going to explore exactly how this bot works, where this data is actually coming from, who is using it, and why, and what it tells us about how exposed our personal information really is in India today. We spoke to the people using it, to a cybersecurity expert who explained how these breaches happen, and we tried without success to track down the person running it. Let's get into it. 23-year-old Mariam Siddiqui left her home in a small town in Bihar without telling her parents. She was running from harassment inside her own extended family. For 10 days, her family searched. They filed a police complaint, and then a friend told them about a bot on Telegram, about a bot. Within minutes, that bot gave them her exact coordinates. It also gave them her Aadhaar number, her passport details, her previous addresses, the names of her parents. A stranger's algorithm knew more about where Mariam was than the police did. This is where I want to begin today, because the story we are covering is not really about one missing woman who was found. It is about what it means that a piece of software run by someone hiding behind the handle danger_devil 1917 can locate any Indian citizen and hand over their most sensitive documents for 2 rupees and 50 paisa. The bot calls itself High Tech Group. It claims access to over 680 million records of people across the country, pulled from breaches involving Big Basket, a platform called Alien Tech Space, the betting app OneWin, and others. When our reporter tested it using his own mobile number, the bot returned his PAN card, his passport information, his Aadhaar number, his family records, his location, all of it for a price that would not even buy you a cup of tea. Now, what is being sold here is not information in the abstract. It is your family. It is every address you have lived at, every number you have owned, every document the state has ever issued to you. Someone built a shop front for your identity and priced it cheaper than a bus ticket. Now, the people using this bot are not, for the most part, criminals in any obvious sense. One user told our reporter he uses it to verify tenants before renting out his property. Another uses it to target customers for his online business, sorting people by income group based on the vehicles they own and where they live. A third man, who asked to be called Ravi, said he started using it out of curiosity after a friend shared it with him. What unsettled him, he said, was not that this information existed somewhere. It was that it could be pulled up so instantly at almost no cost with no oversight of any kind. That distinction Ravi makes is worth pausing on because it points to something the sociologist Shoshana Zuboff spent an entire book trying to explain. In a 2019 book on what she called surveillance capitalism, Zuboff argued that personal data had stopped being simply a record of who we are. It had become a raw material, extracted from human experience and refined into products that predict and shape our behavior, sold onto whoever would pay. What we are looking at with High Tech Group is a kind of pirated back alley version of exactly that logic. The same extraction, the same packaging, the same commercial appetite for a complete profile of a stranger. Only here, there is no corporate boardroom involved, no terms of service, no pretense of consent, just a bot, a price list, and a market of ordinary people who have found it convenient. And that convenience is the part that should worry us most. A landlord checking a tenant, a shopkeeper targeting customers, a family finding a missing daughter. None of these people set out to build surveillance apparatus. They were solving small everyday problems. But each time they used the bot, they normalized a system where a person's entire documented life becomes available to anyone willing to pay for it. Zuboff would call this slow habituation to extraction, where a population learns to treat the violation of their own privacy as a background feature of modern convenience, something too useful to question. So, where does the data actually come from? Rupesh Mittal, a cybersecurity expert who spoke with our reporter, said the information almost certainly originates from breaches at the institutional level rather than anyone hacking individuals directly. Companies, hospitals, government agencies, all of them collect personal data at scale, and all of them have proved vulnerable to sustained cyber attacks. Once those databases are compromised, the records tend to migrate to dark web forums where they get sold mixed with data from other breaches and eventually feed into aggregation tools exactly like this one. This has already happened at a scale that should have changed how India thinks about data protection. In 2023, the Indian Council of Medical Research suffered a breach that exposed the personal information of over 815 million Indians. Aadhaar numbers, passport details, names, phone numbers, addresses, all of it surfaced on dark web marketplaces almost immediately. That breach came from public health infrastructure, the very system meant to protect citizens' most sensitive medical identity information. It did not protect it, it leaked it. Mittal made one more point that deserves attention. He said tools of this kind have at times been used by law enforcement agencies to track individuals, which raises real questions about what legal basis exists for that access and what oversight governs it. Consider what that means. The same database that helped Mariam's family find her in Patna could, in a different set of hands, be used by the state to track a journalist, an activist, a protester, anyone the authorities want to locate without a warrant or a court order. That tool does not distinguish between a worried brother and a surveillance state. It only asks for a mobile number and a small payment. That is it. This is where I think about a different theorist, Michael Foucault, and his idea of the panopticon, the prison design where a single watchover can observe every cell without the prisoners ever knowing if they are being watched at any given moment. Foucault's point was that the power of the panopticon did not come from constant surveillance. It came from the possibility of surveillance, which was enough to discipline behavior on its own. What High Tech Group offers is a kind of that panopticon for hire. You may never be watched by this bot, but the fact that you could be, that anyone with 2 rupees 50 paisa could locate you and pull your documents changes something about how exposed you are in a society that has not yet built the walls to protect you. And here is the uncomfortable part. Nobody has been able to identify who runs this bot. I tried repeatedly to contact the admin. There was no response. The organizations whose breaches feed this bot, Big Basket, Alien Text Base, OneWin, face no visible consequence for the data that leaked from the system. The ICMR breach, 3 years old now, produced headlines and little else. Mittal's own diagnosis is simple. The actual fix is not chasing down bots on Telegram, which will only be replaced by the next one. The fix is preventing the institutions themselves from leaking data in the first place and holding them accountable when they do. Until that happens, every Indian with a mobile number remains, in a sense, already inside the database, not because they did anything wrong, not because they consented to anything, but because somewhere along the way, an institution they trusted with their information failed to protect it, and a market grew up around that failure. Mariam's family found her because of that market. The next family that gets found by someone else's algorithm may not be so fortunate.